sincerely. Because I thought, my golly, I can't give it back to him. He's the minister. He's my connection to the hereafter. I don't want to burn that. So for a number of years, I was polite. I took it. And then I realized something. That's not what he's wanted. You see, we talk about Wayne. Morty commented about being his brother. Well, that's the relationship we have. I have two brothers, and all we do all day long when we're together is tease and torture each other. That's what Dr. Bernardo and I do. You know, the fascinating thing is he loves getting it as much as he loves giving it. And that's something until you see it, you don't really maybe recognize. And you know what it really boils down to? He's one of us. He would tell you that. He's one of us. And that's one of the things that I think makes him so special. Now that I'll tell you, that's not the thing that makes him the most special to me. You know, as I've thought through that very idea, I thought, well, maybe he's an outstanding minister. Let's face it. At this stage of life, he's baptized our children. He's baptized our children's children. And as Deanne said, it's extraordinary every time you see it. I'm convinced when he walks out into the congregation, holding that extraordinary bundle of joy, their faces, it's the face of God. I'm confident of it. He uses that term, and it's one of those things as a visual for me. That's what always comes to my mind. And what is he doing, as Deanne says? He's telling us our responsibility for this child and this family moving forward. It's powerful. He talked about a couple of weeks ago having a power. I will tell you, it is a powerful moment every time I see it. And what does he do? He educates our children. He does it very well. My goodness, he's been educating some of us as adults up until a week ago, teaching the C.S. Lewis Mere Christianity. Outstanding. Those of you that have attended the class, it's just been a real delight to kind of close out this chapter of our lives with one. I don't know that that's what makes him special. I'd say, you know, he gives great sermons. And quite frankly, he marries our congregation, he marries our children, and at the end of the life, he helps us have a celebration, like no man I've ever seen. In our case, 4 different parents over time, over a 20-year period. It's still not what makes him special. And you all have seen it. You know exactly what it is. You just don't maybe put the context to it. What makes him most special is his faith in the love of God. Now, you all see that. You've seen it for a long time. If you're newer to the church, you've seen it just in the last few weeks. And isn't it interesting every time it happens? Sometimes some folks make a little chuckle about it because his lower lip is quivering. I've done the same thing that I do every time for 20-some years whenever it happens. I have to reach in my pocket, I have to give my handkerchief to my wife, and then I sat there in the early days, and I used to think this, how do I get that kind of faith? What do I need to do to become that much of a better man? I will tell you, in 20 years, I'm a slow learner, I apologize, Wayne. He's taught me how to be that man. I'm a better person because of Wayne Bernardo. I say that without any hesitation. And you know, isn't that interesting? Deanne alluded to it just a minute ago. That's what makes him so special. Because he's made all of us better than ourselves. And he does that with a great humility. I'll tell you a quick story that'll be my last. Years and years ago, down in North Carolina, one of our very first, second maybe trip down there, we were working on a house in a little neighborhood, and there was another group working on another house. And some of you all who go on mission trips know that most every year we go, we have another group from another state that are a little hard to get along with. It's a group of gentlemen that are a little verbose, a little loud, a little irritating. And so we try to make the best we can of it. And we have. We've got to stand above all that. But on this particular day, and again, this is in, I guess, July is when we were there this time. It was late in the afternoon. Late in the afternoon of the mission trip was a tough time. You're tired, you're ready to probably not be hammering nails. And so one of the gentlemen came over and said, hey, listen, we need help. We need the shingles for this house we're working on carried up on the roof. And because we can't do it. One gentleman, I think, had a bad leg, bad back. They just couldn't do it. They didn't have the people to carry these shingles. And those of you that may have seen that done, it's nothing fun about it. Basically, you pick up a 700-pound bundle of shingles, you walk up the ladder, hopefully not breaking your neck, you walk it all the way up to the top of the roof, you set it down, and you repeat that until all the shingles are on the roof. And on this particular day, again, the timing wasn't very good, because what popped in my mind almost immediately was, are they kidding? They can't be serious. asking us to do that? Again, I'm a Christian in process. So after the gentleman left, we had a light conversation about what we've been asked to do. And it was the typical kind of conversations you can imagine. And you know what happened though? The guy with the worst back on the construction site stood up. He said 2 words. He said, "Let's go." And that's what we did. Like little ducklings following the mother duck, we went over, picked up all the shingles, carried. We could have done 2 or 3 more houses, quite frankly, at that point. We did what we were expected to do. And that's the great beauty of Wayne Bernardo. He's a humble, quiet leader that he doesn't beat us over the head. He leads us in a direction. That's what he's done to us up to this point. And I tell you, the comment was made about the future. I share Morty's sentiment. It's an exciting time for the church. Yes, it's sad for me. I'll be honest, sad for you. But it's an exciting time. And over the last few months of sermons, what would he want us to do? He would tell us, let's go. Let's go and move forward. And that's what we're going to do. And I will tell you, it's not going to be easy. Wayne's going to go on one path. We're going to continue down this path. Now, I will tell you, for me personally, I'm going to make that work. But I will tell you, for my remaining days on this earth, I have a lot of catching up to do on this teasing thing, and I plan to tease him unmercifully for as long as I physically and mentally can do it. Because I love him like a brother. Thank you all so much.
Can y'all hear me? Talk louder. Okay. So I'm going to start out with a quote that I found, and I wish so much that I could have figured out who it was that wrote this, but I could not for the life of me find who wrote it, but it was too perfect not to put in here. Sometimes as we travel through this world, our lives are touched by someone who makes a profound impact on us. Someone whose kindness and sense of humanity serves to make our days just that much brighter. Someone who reminds us of Jesus in his goodness and capacity to reach out to others. A gentle man who takes the time to extend his hand and open his heart to all those in need. Someone who, like a shepherd, tends to his flock, young and old, with love and devotion. And the flock in turn willingly follows the good shepherd's lead, knowing in their hearts that he was sent to guide them in his love and wisdom to the greenest of all pastures. Such a man as you, and we are all grateful and blessed by your presence in our lives. And I thought that so perfectly represented you in all that you've done for our church. I must admit, it's kind of a bittersweet moment for me to stand up here and talk at your retirement. It's crazy to think that December is already here, and in a few short weeks you'll be retiring, and our church will be starting a new chapter in its life. And I'm excited and a little bit scared, but you've prepared us. You've been saying that you've been worried because so many people have been joining the church. But it's because of the fire that you've given us. And it's because of the light that you have brought to our church. I've been in this church my entire life, and you've been the pastor. You've been there for all of the important events, not only in my spiritual life, but in every aspect of it. You baptized me when I was young, and then I went through your confirmation class as a teenager, and I took the next step and joined the church. And you were there for us when I switched to homeschooling, and all the way to this past year when I graduated from high school. And through those years, you've taught me so much about being a strong Christian in the world that we live in. Even when other people in our faith community change their points of views, you've taught me what it means to stand firm. You've taught me that no matter what's thrown in our way, we have a God that loves us more than words and protects us every single day. And it all came to a T for me a few months ago when you did a sermon and what you told me changed everything. You talked about how we're not here to be comfortable. We're here to spread the word of the Lord. And ever since then, I felt like a new person. I'm not as timid about talking to people about my life, and it stuck with me, and I thank you so much for that. You helped me break out of my shell, and I've even been able to get up there and give a few devotions, which is a lot harder than you make it look, by the way. I don't know how you've done it every week for 28 years in our church. And it's not just me. You do so much for the youth of this church. I don't even know where to begin. You teach us every week in Sunday school, even when we can't get the Roku to work and we have to watch YouTube videos, you still bring a lesson out of it. And with your sermons every Sunday morning. And I personally think that our Vacation Bible School crew has the most fun out of anyone in the entire week. No matter how out of hand we get or how ridiculous our ideas are, you always find a way to rope us back in and make us look forward to it every year. And speaking of something to look forward to every year, there's always Montreat. You will never understand how thankful we are that we are given the opportunity to go every year, and how thankful we are that you are so willing to take all of us crazy teenagers all the way down to North Carolina. And while you're there, you give us so much. You listen to us and answer all of our questions about the day's events, or just in general, and you allow us a free environment for discussion without fear of judgment or feeling like we're asking dumb questions. I can tell you that we all come back excited and refreshed for the next year. There's even a running saying that you don't even need to ask us anymore if we want to go, because the answer will always be yes. So on behalf of the youth, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for teaching us, thank you for guiding us, and thank you for being there for us. Things will be very different without you, but you have given us such a strong foundation that we might just be okay. And I don't think any of us will ever forget that the two most important things for us to remember are to love your neighbor as yourself and to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, strength, and soul. So thank you for all that you've done for us, and thank you for all that you've done for me throughout the years. I'm a stronger person because of it. We love you, we will miss you, and we'll be counting down the days until you come back.
I don't have anything intelligent to say that hasn't already been said, either with heart or passion or eloquence. So I'm not going to say anything else. At this time, though, I would like to present a gift. We have had a generous outpouring of your love for Wayne and Margaret through your stealth giving to our retirement fund. And so there's just one little hitch. The check is made out to Margaret. Now, I was told that I should give you an opportunity to come up and say something if you wanted, but noting that both you and Holly are sitting there with tissues in your hands, I don't know whether you want to do that, but you are welcome to come up and say something if you would like.
Yes, they are. Lord, your tears of joy. Wow. Look at you. This is great. Y'all are our family. Over the past 28 years, it's been a pleasant dream to me. I've loved every minute of it, and I'm going to still be a member of this church. I'm going to teach my little one Sunday school, and I'm going to sing in the choir. But my minister will be different, but my husband will be the same. But thank you all for being here today. Y'all are, I just love looking out at the faces of so many people that have loved us over these years, and I can't thank you enough for that. Mwah.
We've already heard enough from Wayne. So. Wayne, actually, I lied. This is made out to you, but it doesn't, it still is coated in rubber and cannot be cashed yet or anything like that. And so we will present it to you, but we'll basically give you another check. But here is an expression of the love that your church community and community at large have for you. Thank you.
Obviously, Margaret has shared with you how much you all mean to her and to me as a family. And being a part of the life of this church and your lives for the last 28 years has truly been a gift and a blessing. I think for me as a person, the most wonderful thing about it is that though you were very open and receptive to me, you allowed me to be a human being. You allowed me to be a person that does some things right and some things wrong, to make mistakes and sometimes not to be sweet. Most of the time that's unintentionally not sweet, but sometimes I'm just me. But you've been forgiven. And you don't know how important that is to someone, to be forgiven. And you've allowed me to be forgiven and to pick up the pieces and go forward. And so that is something that I'll cherish just as a person, as a part of this family, and will always be a part of this family. I do want to say that there were a lot of truths spoken earlier about me wanting to pinch the heads off of young people. There's a whole table of them right here. I'm glad that I could never catch them because as I see them now, I am so proud of them and proud of their lives as I am of all of the young people that I've had a chance to be a part of their lives. It's just been a joy to see my children grow up and into adulthood, and so they are all my children, every last one of them, and that's been a gift. And it's been a gift again to be a part of their lives. I do want to make something clear though, that it's not all that hard to be the minister in a lot of cases and to lead the congregation, especially like the mission trip. You heard about the story of the shingles on the roof, and that I was the first person up. That's not because I was such a good leader, it's just because the rest of the group was kind of dumb. You see, as the first one in the line, I just went over and held the ladder. So, leadership's not all that difficult. But I do want to say this seriously. I am so proud of my ministry in this church because I was a reflection, if you will. I'm like a mirror reflecting the heart and the life of the congregation as we've grown together. And it wasn't my great ideas, it was me helping to put your ideas and your gifts to work. And so I was really like a mirror, just reflecting the heart and the life of the congregation. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of where we are now as a congregation. And as we've said before, and I've said several times, I'm excited because I've done the best I think that I can do with the gifts that I have. And I am now excited and anticipating the wonderful future that we have as a church, and that I'm going to still be a part of that, sometimes at a distance and sometimes close with you. But to be a part of that as new leadership and new ideas and a new servant of God comes into your lives and enjoys the gifts that you have, that I have enjoyed over the last 28 years. And I can't be happy for that. And I have to confess, there is a part of me that I haven't even allowed myself to really think about. And that's what's going to happen when I'm not able to just be with you in church every Sunday morning. But I'm not going to think about that right now. I'm going to think about the times or the time to come when I will be back with you. And that's how I cope with that. So, God bless you. Be sweet. And I will say this a couple of more times in the next 3 or 4 weeks.